All right, welcome to the second part of two parts of our one walkthrough. If you missed 2 weeks ago, Andrew took us through a journey of applying in the one system. And today we've got a whole bunch of different items that he's going to walk us through. So I'm going to let him and Samantha, who will be helping in the chat, introduce themselves. But speaking of the chat, I just want to ask that everyone save their questions, or better yet, I should say, write your questions in the chat, and Samantha will be all over it to answer them. But we're always concerned a little bit about time, and if we do have time at the end, we may be able to get to some verbal questions. But there's a lot of material to cover, so that's why we make this request. But I want to let these two introduce themselves, being the smart business analysts that they are. So Samantha, if you want to start.
James, before we do, James, can we make this bigger?
There you
It
go.
looks like it's crunched. We need to have the frame a little bigger. That way we'll see it too. Thank you.
Pretty big on my end, it looks like. Well, we'll see if it needs adjusting as we get started. We can do that.
Okay.
All right. And then and again, put your questions in the chat, and we can get rolling with introductions.
Hey guys, I'm Smith Berkshire. I'm a strategic systems business analyst with the One program, working primarily on our customer facing parts of the One system. So that's our One online portal, mobile app, the SMS nudging and robotic return mail processing that we introduced in the past 2 years, our customer facing chatbot, and all of our notices and correspondences. I kind of direct the overall motion of how we're moving through, and I am going to be hanging out in chat to answer all of your questions as Andrew, my awesome colleague, moves us through this demo. Andrew?
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Demray, he, him pronouns. I am a One senior business analyst. My focus is on the One online portal and the companion mobile app, both of which we'll be taking a look at today. So for folks who were here last time or anyone who's watched the video, we'll be picking up pretty much exactly where we left off. We're going to log in and take a look at what that case looks like now that it's been processed, the application's been processed, and we have some RFIs. We'll get a look at the dashboard, and that's kind of where we'll start. So I will go ahead and sign in here.
Hey, Andrew, can you move your mic closer to your mouth? You're a little bit.
Yeah. Is that any better?
Oh my God, it's like you're in the room with us now. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, well, so it's taking a moment here, but once we get to the sign in page, we'll get logged in. A very fun reCAPTCHA tool here where we'll select bicycles. And we should, in just a moment here, see our dashboard. And just a disclaimer, we are in a testing environment here. And now my camera's going weird. Technical difficulties. Sorry, I'm going to turn my camera off for now because that's distracting. So yeah, disclaimer, we are in a testing environment. It sometimes runs a little bit slower than our live environment. So this isn't entirely indicative of the public's experience when using this. And hopefully that doesn't persist throughout the entire presentation. So as said, here is the case. It's a similar case to what we worked on. I had to create a new one, but it should be exactly where we left off, essentially. So we have two individuals, Bobby Belcher and their child, Louise Belcher, who have applied for ERDC, SNAP, medical benefits, and cash benefits. So when we first arrive here on the dashboard, we can see on the left side here, we have some navigation tools. We have the case number up at top, any announcements that are up here, and a navigation panel over here where we can apply for benefits, report changes, update contact information, request benefits to be closed, replace an Oregon Trail card, or complete a medical pre-screening. There's some additional links here for additional resources, locating local offices, and frequently asked questions. On the main part of the dashboard here, we can see the first thing we see right in our face is request for information. So last time we put in some information that needs to be verified, and we can see for ERDC, SNAP, and medical, we need to verify gross earned income. And for ERDC,
Andrew,
Yeah.
can you enlarge it? We have some vision impaired and we need it just enlarge a bit, okay? Oh,
is
there
that
you go.
better?
What do you think, Ruth? I think it's better. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes, it's better, much better.
Okay. So yeah, we have a number of different requests for information here. What we can also see if by scrolling down is we have one program that's pending. We have employment-related daycare. Wasn't able to have a determination made because of that missing information for income and for caretaker schedule. We did have some benefits approved. SNAP benefits were approved and expedited for the first month. We still need to verify some information for ongoing months. And then medical was approved. We can see that cash assistance here was denied. So the information we have here is effective dates, the type of program, the individuals, the type of coverage, things like that. But if we want to see more information about the case, we're going to have to go to the message center. When we get to the message center, we'll see a number of different notices that have been generated as part of the eligibility process. And display all the notices here. And ignore these dates on the side. Again, this is a training environment, and our training team, or sorry, testing environment, and our testing team modifies the dates in the system for their purposes. So cash assistance eligibility decision, we'll take a look at that first because we know that we got denied for cash. We want to find out what happened, what was going on there. So once this loads, we'll have a pop-up version of the PDF of the notice that was generated for this cash decision. So right away, we can see some functions on the top here. We can print the notice from here. We can save the notice from here. There's tools to enlarge and kind of modify the notice within this screen here. So TANF cash benefits are denied. TANF benefits are denied from November 1st ongoing. If we scroll down here, we can see, again, this details more specifically why cash benefits were denied. The household's gross income was over the income limit for TANF. So we reported $1,500 for a monthly income, and the monthly income limit for TANF for the household size is $499. So that's why we were denied here for TANF. So I'm going to close this notice. We can go back to the message center. You can see the SNAP expedited eligibility decision that would say we're approved. We can see notice about medical eligibility that would also explain we're approved and what benefits we're eligible for. Details for ERDC about cooperating with the Division of Child Support, as well as a summary for that application. What we'll take a look at next is that we need more information or proof, RFI notice. And this should match the RFIs that we showed on the dashboard. So we can see here, pended for SNAP for gross earned income, the same for employment-related daycare, as well as medical. And then additionally for employment-related daycare, the parent guardian work schedule. Before we head back to the dashboard, some of the other options up here. We have settings where it gives options to update information, authorized rep and community partner info. You can add an authorized representative to your case, as well as locating a community partner for assisting with medical applications. You can change your CCO by choosing change medical plan. And then my actions will show the actions taken by a user. So whether that's applying for benefits, reporting a change, so you can track what has taken place from your dashboard. So again, we'll take a look at the request for information section here. We can see all of these have this orange exclamation point to the left. That means we still need to attach a document. Once a document's attached, we should see a blue check mark, which means that we've already attached a document for that RFI. I've clicked the Upload Now button here, and that should take us to the document upload screen. So below is a list of items that we've submitted. We can submit more information by uploading to OneMobile or this desktop site. We can mail it in to this PO box. We can fax it to this fax number, or it can always be delivered in person to a local office. So we'll select Bobby Belcher. And we've requested two different things from Bobby. And I'll go ahead and say we're going to upload the gross earned income. Clicking search should pop up a browser file or a browser window here, excuse me. There's a field to add comments. And if we click upload document, we should see that that document is uploaded. Once it is uploaded, we should see a summary of what we have uploaded and the ability to upload further documents as well. Your document has been successfully uploaded. Awesome. So we can see here, Bobby Belcher, gross earned income, document status is pending, means it hasn't been processed yet. The date it was uploaded, again, this is just our testing environment system date currently. And the comment that was added for that. So if we wanted to upload additional RFI information, we could upload additional gross earned income. If we had pay stubs from other work, other sources of income, or if we wanted to upload the parent guardian work schedule. I'm going to leave that one untouched for now so that we can go back and look at what the dashboard looks like after we've uploaded a document.
Andrew, this is Judy, and I just have a quick question here, maybe a dumb question, but when you open the windows, whoops, you went past the window, but when you open the window when it says gross income, do our clients know what gross income is? Or is this just a section only for our staff?
No, this is the applicant facing page. So
I'm just concerned that they might, I know it's, gross income, but we're talking about a wide spectrum of people. And that was just my thought. I'm just throwing it out there for everybody.
Okay. Great input. If we could just keep that in the chat for now while we try to get through the presentation. And then if we have time at the end, would love to have discussions like that, and definitely keep in mind for future opportunities for discussion as well. So back to the request for information section here, we can see now that there's been a document uploaded for that gross earned income penned. That doesn't mean that we can't go back in and upload more information for that. It just means something has been uploaded for that request for information. We can see we didn't upload anything for the parent guardian work schedule, so that's going to remain the orange exclamation point, noting that we still need to attach a document. I'm going to leave that because we'll revisit this case in the mobile app and take a look at what it looks like uploading documents from there in just a little bit. So the next part of the presentation here, we'll look at reporting a change. So again, on the left side of the screen here, we have different options. for what we can do on the dashboard. And we're going to choose the second option here for reporting a change. So this screen, the OOIC folks will recognize as something that we've been working on for the past few months, reorganizing what this looks like. It used to be a more condensed list, not separated in the way that it is now. And hopefully this redesign looks a lot better, is easier to navigate, and it is now fully complete and it has been introduced into the system. So this first section, changes in my household, comprises members of my household, contact information, and relationships. Then we have financial changes, which could be anything from income to tax filing status to expenses. Changes for a person in my household, which would be situations like pregnancy or accident claims, living arrangement, immigration status, school attendance, veteran or military status. Change in health and healthcare status would be healthcare coverage, healthcare needs, disability information, or Medicare information. If we find that nothing we want to report is in any of those sections, we can choose something else that's not listed above. For this purpose, we're going to go to financial changes. Click income, and we'll click continue. And so this page has logic based on what has been selected for the change reported to navigate the user to that specific part of the application. So we can see here we've been navigated to the financial information section. So I want to report a change to the earned income record that we have on this case. So I'm going to click report a change here. I could also choose to report a change on any of these additional income types. If I had self-employment income I wanted to report, I could choose report a change and click yes there. Unearned income, report a change, and we'll say yes, we have some unearned income to report for Luis. So we're going to report a change to Bobby's income, and we're going to add some unearned income for the second household member. So we see the current earned income record here displayed in this table. Bob works at Bob's Burgers. It's that $1,500 wages record that we had entered before. If we want to edit that record, we're going to click this edit pencil here. It'll bring up the details that we have. And say this employment has not ended, but we are going to report that Bobby is temporarily away from work without pay. Reason for temporary leave. I'm going to say he's on leave for medical reasons. Is he away from work to care for a sick child? We'll say no. Date the temporary leave started. Say at the beginning of October. And Bobby expects to return to work on the 1st of next year. So when we click update, those changes should, data. When we click update, those changes should be saved in that record. If we look at it again here, we should see that information's been saved. So we'll click next, and it should take us to the unearned income section to report an unearned income change for the second household member. We will say that Luis is getting Social Security payments, SSB, not due to blindness or disability. We'll say $500. Nope, it did not start prior to August 1st. So the income start date we're going to say was October 1st. First payment was also received on October 1st. The payment frequency is monthly. The income has not ended. And when we click next, the income will be added. If we click add income, it will also be added, and we'll be able to add an additional record here. So we can see that the income record is now added here, the $500 SSB for Luis. So I'll click next, and it should take us to the income summary, where we can see we still have the record here for Bobby because we didn't report that it ended. We just report that it's temporary leave, and then we reported new unearned income for Luis. So the reported change flow after it has driven you to what you've selected to change will just take you from there through the rest of the application to give an opportunity to report any additional changes. We're not going to report any changes to the shelter, utility, child support, dependent care, education, or deductions. We'll just click next.
Hey, Andrew, while you're clicking next, I do want to call out, because I'm not sure, I know this takes a minute to load. I'm not sure if people noted it, but while we were in the income section, we often hear concerns about how difficult it is to report changes on income. I just want to call it again that when Andrew navigated to the income gate post, it showed what was already marked as yes and no. And by clicking that report a change box, Andrew was able to change those no's to yeses, and go in and add new incomes. On the flip side, if what he was looking to do was end date a medical, he wouldn't be able to flip from yes to no because there are some answers that are required when you're reporting a change that an income has ended. So he can click report a change, and then will be navigated to within the income record to be able to add that end record. But I want to call this out because I know this is a big conversation that has been coming up, and it's something that, you know, both staff and our customer facing work group, our partners and our benefit recipients, we should all kind of focus on that a little bit. Think about ways that we can make that more obvious on how you either add a new income at report a change, update an existing one, or end an existing one, and make it really, really clear and obvious for our customers. So there's no question when they're in there how they can make those updates. And now I'll stop talking because Andrew's ready.
Perfect. Thanks, Samantha. So yeah, now we're at the annual income screen. And so since we've changed income amounts in the system, we're going to need to attest to new projected annual income amounts. So for Bobby here, for the annual income for 2024, this is the projected amount. We're going to say, do we think it's going to be different? Yeah, because Bobby's out of work for a little while. So we're going to say he's only expecting $6,000. And then he's going back to work on the 1st of next year. So no, we expect that to be in line with that projected amount. And then we also know that we reported income change for Luis. So we'll scroll back up here and we'll click on Luis's page here. And now we need to attest for this Social Security benefits section if that projected amount will be correct. We'll say yes. Oops, sorry, we'll say no. What we're attesting to is if the income will be different than what is projected. So we're going to say no, that is correct. And then expects to receive it next year. So we'll also say no here, and $6,000 for the year would be correct. We're not going to report a change for healthcare coverage and benefits. Nor to access to health coverage. And this is asking if we would like to choose a new CCO. You have the opportunity to do that when reporting a change. If we were to click yes, it would populate the CCO grid here where we could keep our current CCO, choose a new CCO. Some, as discussed last time, some areas will only have one CCO selection, but if there is multiple different options to choose from, we would see that here in the CCO selection. So I'm going to say no here. We're not going to make any changes. Okay, before we submit our application, we want to review the information here. So again, this is an opportunity. We can expand any of these sections throughout the application to take a look at what's been reported. If we want to change anything that's been reported, these are the programs that are requested. These are our household relationships. We keep scrolling down and we want to take a look at what we did report. We'll look at the income, earned income here. We see the wages are still there for Bobby. Unearned income has been added for Louise. If we wanted to edit either one of those, clicking that edit pencil would take us back to that income module where we could update that information. Click next here. This will bring us into the submission part of this application. Just offering some resources here for TV, child support, child care, and other things. We'll have our rights and responsibilities here. So again, very similar to what we saw when we were creating an application in the last presentation. This information will all be sent via notice as well, but as we, as we're asking for signatures and submission of information on the online portal, that's why we display it here as well. Program acknowledgements, different information about our different programs. Information about estate recovery. Details about reporting changes. And each program has specific details about when and what needs to be reported. Penalties for fraud and things like that. Additional information for all programs about discrimination, Governor's Advocacy Office. Veteran information, again, this was present in our last presentation with the application. If someone's a veteran, they can attest to that here. We're going to say no. And you should see the voting question next, I believe. Oh, I was wrong. Submit changes. So by submitting this information, you're acknowledged to have given us true and complete information. So we're going to click submit, and that's going to initiate these changes being submitted to the system. Hopefully this won't take too long. Samantha, anything from the chat that would be good to bring up while we have this pause?
I think I've kept ahead of it. There was a couple of comments at gross income, following up on, I think it was either Judith or Ruth. Sorry. I'm having a moment where I can't remember who was speaking. And talking about the problem with the gross income verbiage, and you guys are totally right. People don't know what gross income is. We describe it further in that letter they received that tells them exactly what we need, what information we need, and we do describe it on the income screens as well, because we know that people don't know what their gross income is, and they're going to tell us their net income half the time anyway. The reason it's shortened to gross income on what Andrea was showing you is straight up just a real estate issue. Things we can address, but we can't get into a very long description of what gross income means just because of space on that. So that was, I think, our spiciest one so far. Otherwise, just covering them as they go. And oh, there was a call out that Bean is in fact, yes, a live camera. Very important.
Yep, the most important. Okay, so we can see here after that loading screen, we reach a page that says the application submission was successful. Miscellaneous document upload. Here is another way that individuals can upload information. So we've seen, this will now be the third way we've seen to upload documents to the online portal. We had in last week's presentation a similar screen to this at the end of the application process. Then we had at the beginning of this presentation, the responding to RFI process. And now this is a different way to access uploading documents as well. You can see that document has been attached. We have an option to view, delete, or attach another document. Document has been uploaded successfully. Uploaded document summary, miscellaneous document. Options to view, delete, returning to attach more documents, or to submit. Document upload has been completed. So details about the next steps. Again, this was a screen that we viewed last time during the creation of the application. Just common things that we'll be requesting for just in a general sense, nothing specific to the actual RFIs on this case, but just things that all cases need to verify. And that takes us back to the dashboard here. So no additional pens or anything from what we just reported will show up currently on the case. That there's reported changes that will need to be processed from the worker side before that shows up here. So for now, we're going to be done taking a look at this case. We're going to move on to what it looks like when a periodic report is due for the SNAP program. We'll revisit this case when we get to the online mobile app, which will come up as soon as we're done taking a look at what periodic reports look like. So bear with me just a minute while I get a new screen pulled up here. And this this link that I'm going to, it's still the online portal. The way I'm accessing it currently is a worker side, staff side access to the online portal. It's just going to prevent me from having to go through the full login process. So this is what a community partner, similar to what a community partner would see or a staff member would see if they were going to view information from an online portal view.
And when we say staff person, this role is limited to the business analyst team and the one technical team. Eligibility and support staff in field and VAC should be using worker portal. They shouldn't be coming in through the one online portal.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're looking at a different case here for Peggy Hill. The first thing we see, or kind of the first thing we hope folks see, is that this orange banner at the top saying we have a pending periodic report. And I'm going to zoom in here because that was even small for me. So hopefully that's a little bigger. We have a pending periodic report. Please complete the periodic report process prior to December 31st, 2024 to prevent loss or gap in benefits. Similar to that RFI grid that we were looking at on the other case, we can see the periodic report for SNAP is due. And we have very similar icons here, the orange exclamation point saying that we still need to complete the renewal or periodic report. Once it's done, we'll see a blue check mark there until it's been fully processed. So this will additionally show up here for a renewal, but specifically what we're looking at here is the periodic report for SNAP. So this process has changed quite a bit recently, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to demonstrate it here today. So there's really two paths through the periodic report currently, and that's to attest to there being changes, and we'll show what that looks like when we get to this screen, once the screen loads here, or to attest to there being no changes. And when there's no changes, we can process that periodic report automatically through the online portal. So we already see SNAP is selected here, when it needs to be submitted by. We'll start the renewal or periodic report. And if this isn't submitted after we've clicked start, it's not going to, it has to be fully submitted for it to be saved. So it's kind of a, once you start it, you got to finish it, or you'll have to start over if you're not able to finish it in one go, specifically for the periodic report. It's about giving consent to check information with federal databases. So this brings us to the review page of the online portal. We can see information about who's in the household, contact information, living arrangement. If there was income records or expense records, they would be shown here as well. And what this is showing is information that needs to be reported for changes that we're able to report here. Or in addition to that, any of this additional information below. After reviewing all of the information above, have any of the following changed? Household information, contact information, shelter, utility expenses, any type of gross income, jobs that have ended, or self-employment businesses that have closed, new sources of income, or court order amounts of child support. So if we click yes, that any have changed, we'll show what nothing has changed looks like next, but we'll start with reporting a change here. This gives us an opportunity to go through the application, and it's going to preload all of the information that already exists for the application. So if we needed to change any of this information as we go through, we have a chance to do that.
And for our eligibility workers, this flow is limited to the required data necessary during the periodic report. So it's not going to take you through the whole application.
We're going to say there's no changes in the contact information. Other individual questions. Disability demographic questions. Any change to the living arrangement? Bear with me while this is loading. The income summary. So we're going to report that Peggy now has some earned income. We're going to add income, and we'll see what should be probably familiar to us by now through the first part of this presentation as well as last week. The earned income, or the income gate post screen, where we have an option to add report a change here. And as Samantha was mentioning, to be able to report that change, we have to select report a change, and then we can choose between yes and no. And when yes is selected, we have an option to choose who in the household that's being reported for, if there was multiple people in the household. Since we just have a single household member here, it's just going to default to being reported for Peggy. So I'll scroll down and click next, and that should bring us to the earned income. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't. That was my mistake. This should now bring us to the earned income screen. So we'll report wages. The category and type are both wages. Employer name, not particularly creative at the moment. Job is what I'm thinking. Let's say Peggy works 100 hours, paid monthly, and the gross amount, Peggy, is $2,000. Did employment start prior to August 1st? We're going to say no. Employment start date. We're in November here, so we're going to say November 1st, 2024. First pay received, let's say on November 15th, 2024. What was the total income from this source in November? So considering they only got one paycheck halfway through the month, we'll say it was just half of their monthly gross income that they received for this month. And that will help us prorate the income correctly for what's actually been received in the month. Temporarily away from work without pay, no. And has this employment ended? No. So we'll click next, and that'll be added and displayed on the earned income summary. We'll click next here. I'm not going to report any child support expenses. And then again, we come to this review and submit page where we can review anything that was existing on the case before or that newly added income. Again, an opportunity to review the rights and responsibilities before the application is signed. Penalties for the SNAP program. And the e-sign and submit page. So if we scroll down here, by entering my name below, I'm electronically signing my application. So again, we'll wait just a moment here, hopefully not too long. Bean looks enthralled with the presentation. She's usually sleeping in the back at this hour.
She just loves a good walkthrough of one online portal, man.
And as soon as this last green check mark is completed, we should be brought to the eligibility results screen.
It's good information to snack to.
Yeah, snack break.
It does take its sweet time sometimes. This is not the way that it behaves in production for our customers. As a special to the test. Let me see. Mercedes said, no wonder people choose to call us. This is a lot more work for them. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Mercedes. For some people, doing it on their own at 2 a.m. in their pajamas is definitely their vibe. It's what they want to do. For some people, they prefer to fill out paper, and for some people, they prefer to just call us and handle it. Part of our hopes here is to always ensure that whatever method our customers want to come in through, however they want to interact with the department, those doors are all open for them to self-select and choose how they want to move forward.
Well said. So I'm skipping through the document upload here because we did just take a look at that, but the opportunity to upload documents is available in a change reported periodic report. And then we come to the eligibility results screen. And since we reported a change on this periodic report, that needs to be reviewed by a worker. So pending completion of application process. I need to zoom out for this, so apologies, folks. I will zoom back in. Application process may include providing required information or verifications, department review, interview with a worker.
It was a fancy way to not say pending for interview, because first of all, that's not true for a periodic report, right? And second, because we're not allowed to pend for interviews.
So again, the next steps, just various things that are needed to be verified for each case. And as we return back to the dashboard here, we can see that orange check mark on the left side has turned to a blue check mark, letting us know that we have completed the submission of that periodic report. So that was one path through. I'm going to pull up another case here and we'll take a look at what it looks like when no change is reported. Hopefully that should go slightly faster. And hopefully these screens go faster as well and cooperate with us. So again, just going in this kind of back way without having to log in. And again, here we can see the first thing is this bright orange banner saying we need to complete the periodic report process prior to the end of December. So we're going to select again from this periodic report section to complete the renewal or periodic report. We're going to start the periodic report for SNAP. And we're going to click next here. And we will come again to that section to review all the information that's been provided previously and a note to report any additional changes. For this option, we're going to choose no, nothing has changed. It's going to take us right to the rights and responsibilities. Again, to the penalties pages for the SNAP program. And we'll sign and submit. Hopefully this goes a little faster this time because we didn't report any too much additional information. So, and what we're hoping to see here is once this is processed, when there's no changes reported on a periodic report for SNAP, with the recent updates, we should see eligibility run in the system here, and these SNAP benefits approved on for the second half of that eligibility period that was initially approved. A cool feature for folks that are able to, have the time to, and the ability to submit this online, saving time for them, saving, limiting the amount of interaction they have to have with us, hopefully. Also saving time for workers from following up on things that don't need to be updated in the system. So Ruth's comment, I think, is asking about the understandability of the signature section.
Yeah, I
That-
can, Andrew. So
yeah.
we did release, I was actually typing, I was clacking away. We did actually release the updates to say first names with the parenthesis S about 3 years ago, and I haven't seen a notable dip in the usage of the system for individuals 65 and older. But that's a great question, Ruth, and it's something we can look at a little bit more deeply. We can look at we can look at statistics around how many people are pausing at that and spending more than I would say, normal amount of time trying to figure out what to do on that screen based on what account they're logged into and their age group. So I'll dig into that a little bit.
Another good call out, Ruth. So we've reached the the eligibility results screen here, we can see that medical and SNAP are both approved. And again, that this is the new kind of feature here, is that the eligibility in this instance is being run for SNAP on the online portal side, which is typically something for things other than Magi Medical that it's done in the worker portal side. And since that was able to be fully processed, now we no longer see that grid for the periodic report displaying here. So this individual has had their SNAP continued. Their next renewal date is June 30th, 2025. You can see the SNAP benefits for this month, the ongoing benefits over here. Low. So that concludes what we were going to show in the web-based part of the Oregon Online Portal. So I'm going to take a minute here to switch over and display from my phone, and we'll take a look at the mobile application for One Online. Stop sharing here. Hopefully in just a moment here. Yep.
This is George.
Hey, George.
We're gonna be taking questions from 3:15 to 3:30, right?
We're going to take questions if we have some time at the end. If you have questions now and you'd like to, you can type them out in the chat. If we're not able to get to them in the chat, we can try and have some time at the end. But I do really want to show folks what we can do in the mobile app here.
Okay.
So this is the mobile app, and the screen that we first come to is login screen. We have an option to log in or to create an account. We can also change the app from English to Spanish. And we're going to choose login here, and we're going to look at that same account that we started at the beginning of this presentation. So let me get logged in here. And the great thing about this is you use the same login and same password that you do to log into the web-based online portal. So after we consent here, we'll get to a welcome screen. Thank you for confirming our identity. This is each section of the mobile application will have kind of a description of what we can do here. We can get status on our cases and applications, find out when we need to take action, follow along to learn more about what these statuses mean. If we click this, it won't show up anymore. I'm going to leave it there so that we don't lose that. And we're going to say, take me to my dashboard. So first thing here, we see a number of different cases with pending action needed or denied with action available. It's just kind of an overview here on our dashboard of what we have available. If we click view case details, it'll take us into some more detailed information about the cases. So at the top here, we have option to view summary or report changes or to view case actions. If we scroll down, we'll see first medical here with action needed. So although medical is open, we do have what we refer to as a soft pen, something that'll need to be verified due by January 30th. We can see the type of coverage. We have an option, much like in the web-based portal, to print a verification of benefits. If we were to click that, it'll pop up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to load here. Again, this is a testing-based environment and not entirely indicative of how it functions in the live system. So hopefully this loads for me here in just a moment.
I do want to call out, we've had some comment on social media saying, oh, you're expecting people to have Adobe Reader. In the mobile app, you do not have to have Adobe Reader to access these notices. They load up without having Adobe Reader on your phone. So the purpose of the mobile app was to be very slim, small, and easily usable on older phones and phones with limited space. So the the software to display the notice is all contained within the mobile app.
Great call out. Thank you. So we can see here that we have the verification of medical benefits. This is something that for years folks had to come into the office to get printed to take to various different organizations and agencies that they can qualify for benefits by qualifying for our benefits. So the idea here is that, a lot of these places hopefully can just view this on the phone. You just, hey, look, it's on my phone right here. But if it needs to be downloaded and printed and the individual has access to a printer, if you click download, that'll be an option to save this to, oops. There we go, pop up, and you can, message it, mail it, save it to files, print it. Just hopefully making life a little bit easier for folks that receive benefits and taking some of that lift off of our support staff in our offices. So if we keep scrolling here, we'll see another section for Bobby's medical. We'll see the household's SNAP section here. Let's see the monthly benefits. Again, this SNAP case was approved for expedited, so that first month was approved. So we can see the monthly benefits of $450, but it still is pending for the ongoing information. Cash here we can see was denied. What does denied status mean? It means we did not qualify to receive benefits. And again, at the beginning of this presentation, we looked in this because this household's over the income limit. And then ERDC we can see is pending as well. So one thing that's not showing here, because I was playing around with this case before the presentation, there should be a orange dot, similar color to this orange exclamation point here on the documents tab at the bottom. So we have dashboard, documents, messages, and support. There should be an orange dot there before when it hasn't been viewed for the first time, which is letting us know there's something there that we can view. So I'm going to click that. On the document screen, we can take action for missing information or request information. We can find documents and their statuses after we've taken an action. So first thing we can see here on the view tab, we're up on view on the two tabs at the top, is we can see the verification that we've submitted, both the gross income and the SSI verification that we uploaded in the online portal web version. And then if we click upload here and choose the case, we can click start uploading to this case to see additional RFIs. So here we can see that we've already uploaded information about gross earned income, but we still have action needed for the parent guardian work schedule. So again, we'll get a summary of the case, the individual, what program it's pending, type of verification it's asking for, and the due date for that verification. There's a link here under attached documents that will take us to view that RFI notice if we need to see additional information about what's being asked. And then we have options here to attach documents via mobile. So if needed, there's a link to learn how to take a photo as an attachment, because that's an option that we'll see here, or we can attach updated existing files from within the phone. So when we click attach documents here, we'll get a little pop-up. You have an option to take a photo, pick from a gallery, or pick from PDF files. We pick from the photo gallery, it'll bring us to our images. You can see cute pictures of my dog. If we click pick from PDF files, we'll see any PDF files that are saved to the phone. And if we click take a photo, it'll open a tool where we can take a photo . You can adjust what part of the photo you want to capture. So similar to how, depositing a check would work through a banking app or something like that. Click finalize, and then we can see that We have attached a document here. It's an image file, a JPEG file. We have an option to remove it, to preview it, to add a comment. We can attach additional documents, or we can submit. We're going to go ahead and submit. I guess it was schedule verification, not income verification, but you get the idea. So documents have been uploaded. And now we can see that there's been a document uploaded for both of our pens. That information will still need to be processed by a worker. But we can go back here. We can go to view, and we'll now see, in addition to the income that had been uploaded, which is down there, we have that newly uploaded parent guardian work schedule. So additionally, down at the bottom, we have the messages section. We can find and download notices. We can view all notifications in one place, like general alerts and case-specific reminders. So very similar to the web portal, we can view any of these that have been generated. So if we needed to take a look again at the cash eligibility decision, it'll pop up and populate just like that, the verification of benefits did that we looked at before. So we can see the decision that was made here. We can download or print this from here, or just use it for reference. So go back to the dashboard here and go back to our case details. And then again, as mentioned, there's an option to view summary or report changes. So here you have an option to report a change in address, in contact information, in income. We can currently report earned income or unearned income, and there is a tool that lives within this app that helps screen what type of income can be reported, what type of income will need to be reported online, and based on the answers given throughout that process, it will direct an individual to be able to upload through this app, or say, hey, this needs to be reported online. Here's a link to go do that. Additionally, the CCO can be reported from here. So we'll say address. So, sorry, here we have Bobby Belcher. It will show us what the current address is. And then the current mailing address, we can report changes to either. So we chose edit to edit the physical address. You can report if you have a home address or if you don't have a home address. We're gonna say the address is changed. We'll go, just make up one here. And an option to select that the mailing address is separate from the physical address. We're going to leave that unchecked for now. So since I entered a fake address, 123 Fake Street doesn't exist in Oregon, it's asking us to check the address. So we have an option to enter the address again, or we can continue with the entered address. If I had put in a real address, we would have had, similarly to our presentation from last week, or last 2 weeks ago, I guess, the Melissa tool would have popped up and helped us link to an existing USPS address in the way that the Postal Service views it. So we're just going to continue with the entered address here. It's going to ask if we live in Oregon, if we plan to stay in Oregon. These are our residency questions. We have an option to review the information that's been reported. We're going to say everyone has the same physical and mailing address. Made changes to one or more addresses. Yes, we did. It's just showing the verification of that. You can choose to edit the mailing address separately or re-edit the physical address for either household member. I'm going to say no more changes. It's going to ask us for if we want to register to vote. Task tracker address section completed. When an address change is reported, the CCO will have an opportunity to be updated, especially in this case as we change to a different county. We'll want to review that. Yeah, we want to change our current CCO. We're going to choose Bobby Trillium and Louise Trillium. Click next. Review the CCO selection for each household member. CCO section is completed, and then it'll bring us to review what we've changed. We made changes to the address details and to the CCO. We can review those, or we can continue or go back to report more changes. This is a statement of understanding. You have to acknowledge the rights and responsibilities, program acknowledgements, state recovery, reporting penalties, and information for all programs, similar to the reporting a change process on the web-based portal. Accept and submit, and so hopefully it won't take too long. So where are we at with time?
3:12.
3:12.
That is a lot to review.
Yeah, this in our test environment, this screen has been kind of slow historically. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. There we go. Back to case details. And now we're back here after having reported a change. So that's pretty much all we wanted to look at for this case. The other function that we have here within the portal here is, well, let me just explain what I'm doing here. Sorry. I clicked this profile button in the upper right. And there's an option to change email, password, role. What the role is speaking to is between a user account or an authorized representative account. And an option to log out. I'm going to choose log out. We go back to log in. One of the other options we had here was to create an account. We can choose individual or authorized representative. Say Homer is creating a new applicant portal account or an online portal account.
Jelly Bean
So
is very
there's-
interested in what password you're going to put in here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bean, it's not a password featuring Jelly Bean. I need to update my process. Oops. Okay, and then oops. Looks like we picked one that's been used before. So what happens when you reuse the same cartoon characters to make too many cases in the test environment. So similarly to the last presentation when we were creating an account, we need to verify the email address. So I'm going to do that on the side here on my computer. just a moment.
It can also be done from your mobile phone. It's just a little bit easier while we're demoing for Andrew to not have to change between apps. But 100% of this process can't be done on the mobile app. I will say though, this is Sam opinion, not fact, opinion. I think that account creation is much easier on the website rather than the mobile app. If people only have the mobile app available to them because they only have a mobile phone or a tablet, we of course have the account creation available, but personal best experience, use the web. That's my Sam take.
Okay, so now we'll go back to login. And we should be brought to the remote identity proofing process. Let's start by verifying your information. So enter our details. It's populating our first and last name and our email. Identifies as male. No phone number, social security number. Birth date. Oops. Nope, that's not right. Go. Fat fingers. And then we'll get a suggested address, or we can keep the address that we entered. We'll go with the suggested address. Almost there. We've successfully verified our account. Confirm our answer, or confirm our identity by answering some questions. This is our remote identity proofing process, similar to the online portal, the web-based version. Success. So now we should see this person being connected to their existing account in the system. Hello, Homer. Take me to my dashboard, and Homer can now view their medical benefits and their SNAP benefits. And you can see the orange dot I was talking about before with RFIs exists on this case. So that kind of tells us down here, hey, that's something to look at. And if we look at that, we'll see another orange dot up in the right corner, letting us know that we need to upload information for our case. So that is all I had to present on both the web portal as well as the mobile app. And thanks everyone for going on that journey with me. Samantha, anything to add that I didn't cover before we open up for some questions for the rest of the time?
I don't think so, Andrew. You did a fantastic job.
Love to hear it. All right, yeah, anyone who has any questions, feel free. Now would be a good time to raise your hand and ask away. We'll do our best to ask or to answer. George, go ahead.
Yeah, Andrew, I didn't want to put this in our discussion in our recent meetings, but at the beginning, when you go to do all this, not on the phone, but on the computer, when you go in,
Mhm.
And it reads warning at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a little bit more darkened in black. And so really light. Because people may not be able to see the warning from the very get-go when they go to either agree or disagree from the very beginning.
Yeah, let me try and pull up what you're talking about.
Some people have different eyesights.
Yeah, and you're talking about this screen, correct?
Yeah, I think the whole thing should be darkened a little darker. So then they know what they are reading before accept or reject.
That's a great call out, George. These are supposed to be, and you know that I put a ton of air quotes around that. They're supposed to be compliant with WCAG 2.0 AA, which is our federally recommended standards for accessibility, and it has to do with contrast. So that the size of font and the darkness of font is an example of that. We can have this checked to confirm that this is actually using the correct color scheme, because that's a great call out. It is looking a little gray rather than black. I do want to let you guys know as well that the state of Oregon is undergoing a project. The federal government has said that all customer facing websites must be moved up to WCAG 2.1 AA by April 2026. And independently, ODHS OHA have determined that we need to go up to WCAG 2.2 AA by April 2026. So we will see some pretty substantial changes in those accessibility features you're calling out, like the contrast, George, to further ensure that our systems are accessible by people with low vision and vision limitations. So great call out, and we'll double check that.
I also have another comment. It's going to do you guys a great favor, and it's going to do a consumer a very great favor, is for a person that has a disability that is blind to maybe have a program out here that could read that for them. There's a program out there that reads for people with blindness.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that at least probably not broadly in the sense of every screen reading program available, but there's one that's I know is called JAWS. And then for both Android and iPhone, the native screen readers within those are all, we use those in our testing processes on the state side when we're developing things to make sure that our screens and the things that we're introducing into the system are usable with screen readers. So that should be a function that's available to folks that use that type of assistive technology.
Yeah, but what about computers? People aren't going to always have phones. Computers need to have.
Yeah, so I know that I'm pretty sure it's called JAWS. It's a computer program that does screen reading. I don't know about anything that we can build into the system that would do that as a feature of our system, but individuals that use that type of technology, our site has been tested to make sure that it works with that technology.
Okay, because I have a neighbor that uses a program and he has to have it in order for it to read for him.
Yeah, and so again, not knowing what program that is or how exactly it functions, I can't say for certain, but what I can say is when we introduce new things in our system and when we were building the website and I know that you're speaking specifically to computers, but mobile apps as well. I'd say that because I worked on the testing for that. We make sure that it works in that capacity so that individuals like your neighbor who use those tools can use our website in the way that works for them.
Okay.
Mhm.
Other than that, you did a really good job.
Thanks, George. Anybody else have questions or comments?
And we are technically at time.
Oh, we're out of time. Okay.
But anyone want have something that they're thinking about? We'll throw it in, and we're seeing our chat there too, Andrew.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate the turnout. It was great.
Right, thank you.